Welcome to another edition of Litter Media Live, our daily program with Aaron Glandon, who's not quite reached icon status yet.
Not yet. I'll get there in 30 years.
Yeah, give us some time. But filling in for Mike Smith today is Aaron Glandon. Actually, I'm going to be doing the reading, so I guess I'm kind of filling in for Mike.
You're Mike and I'm you.
There you go. Yes. So we'll see how well we do as Frick and Frack today, the separation of realism. We do want to take a look at what's happening with local news as well as sports. We'll take a look also at some of the events coming up across the Scioto Valley that we have of interest for you. So that's just ahead. But first, how about this weather? We're looking today at more sunshine. In fact, we'll have sun today, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. There is a chance of some rain coming up on Friday. High temperatures today, close to 60 degrees, and then back to 60 on Tuesday. And for the nighttime lows, around freezing. So expect if you're like me, I live in a low-lying area, so I've got a lot of frost that I have to deal with each and every time it gets below 32. So, and the dew point gets involved, and that's where the freezing happens.
Right. So I had the AC on in my car this morning.
Did you really?
I was warm in there.
Nice.
I think it was the sun.
You think that was it?
Yeah, really warmed it up.
We will continue in just a moment. You can find more weather on our website as well. Just feel free to check that out at littermedia.com. Coming up in a moment, what's making news for us across the Scioto Valley. But first, we want to tell you about Scioto Valley dumpsters. They're cleaning up, folks, and they're cleaning up for you. They've got a wide range of territory. You can see the different counties surrounding Ross County that they deliver these dumpsters to. And they have different sizes of dumpsters. So if you've got a project going on at home or at your business, give them a call. 740-253-8389 for Scioto Valley Dumpsters. News is next.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Each week, Litter Media presents the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. If you have an athlete to nominate, any amateur athlete is eligible. Simply visit littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. At the end of the year, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Make your nominations now at littermedia.com. Click on Player of the Week.
At Rathkamp Financial, we provide wealth management services that may ease clients' fears of financial loss and help them retire comfortably. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
There we are.
We went dark for a moment, and I thought we were going to turn on a flashlight. But everything's okay now. All right, let's take a look at what's making news across the Scioto Valley for you today. And we are going to start with a look at a Chillicothe resident and her dog are coming up with a mission to bring awareness to an unspoken social epidemic that plagues over 10 million women and dogs in the United States each year. Filmmaker Jessica Griesheimer has been working with the community to lay the groundwork for a feature-length drama, and this film that will begin production in Ross County the spring of 2024, with the goal of offering a one-of-a-kind movie premiere experience to the community later in the year. The intention of raising funds to break ground for this first pet-friendly domestic violence shelter to be created here in Ross County. I happened to, Friday was a day off for me. We take off from these daily things so we can do the Litter Media Game of the Week. While I was home, I was flipping through channels and came across a Purina ad that I thought it was one of the oddest starts to an ad. There's a woman who is picking up dog food, which had been scattered on the floor, and she's picking it up, and you can see her partner's from his legs down, and he bumps into her on her way through, and you can tell something's not right in this commercial. And then the message comes on talking about Purina helps to fund these shelters for not only the person who's being abused, but also their animal. So they can take, and it ended up with something like pet-friendly domestic violence shelters is what they're funding.
Right.
I had not seen anything about that, and then this information came to us in an email. So, again, it's something that's overlooked by many folks, but it is obviously a need because these animals most likely are being abused as well.
Right.
And for the abuser, they're the ones you want to leave behind. And for the victims, sometimes they need to have that animal with them as a comfort as well. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a great idea, and I'm glad that that Jessica is putting this together, and we wish her well in this effort. So if you can help fund that, please do. All right, on to our next item here, Rock for Tots. There's Paul Pollard, who has made a stop in here to the studio a time or two. They're conducting their 39th show coming up Friday, December 1st. That is not too far around the corner. It'll be at, again, the Majestic Theater. Doors will open up at 6 p.m. Performances from Felony 4, The Basement Collective, 7 Mile Bluegrass, Sugarloaf Shakedown, Good and Stout, Toadstool Shadow, and a special tribute to Tim Ellis, who was a friend of Rockford Tots, to Rockford Tots, usually bought a lot of auction items and then turned them back over for auction to help raise yet even more money for Rockford Tots. So you can get details when you go to the website majesticchillicothe.net. And Paul will be in with us sometime soon. He and I were texting back and forth about scheduling for a spot here and doing a segment, so watch for Paul to be with us here in the near future. This is Winter Safety Awareness Week here in Ohio. Winter can be fun and exciting, but winter can also bring snow, ice, blizzard conditions, freezing rain for drivers, which doesn't make it so nice.
No.
As winter approaches, residents are encouraged to be prepared for the harsher side of the season. Our story that you'll find at littermedia.com looks just like this, has some tips to help you prepare for the not-so-pleasant side of winter. Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and 3 locations in Fairfield County and Lancaster will be hosting free Thanksgiving Day meals for those in need for that community. The Salvation Army will host a lunch from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Maple Street United Methodist Church in Lancaster will open at 11 and be open till 1 p.m. And Foundation Dinners on West 5th Street in Lancaster will serve lunch at 11:30 a.m., dinner at 4 p.m. You'll be able to find this, if you forget about it, on our Facebook share for you. Winter solstice is coming up Thursday, December 21st, and is considered the shortest day of the year. Archaeologists believe that the ancient Americans celebrated solstices, and the seasonal events held a great importance for many traditional cultures, including First Nations. Grounds will be open from 5:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Serpent Mound Memorial. The Visitor Center there starts at 10 o'clock, open until 4:30. If you've never been to the Serpent Mound, you'll find it on State Route 73, just outside of Peebles, Ohio. Serpent Mound is managed by the Ohio History Connection. And to the south of us, coming up on Thursday, the Portsmouth Winter Fest gets ready to take place. They'll open up their skate rink on Thursday, and that will continue right through the weekend. They've got different things going on. They've added a hockey club and skate club to use at that rink, carriage rides, and a whole lot more. Of course, here in Chillicothe, in downtown Chillicothe, the open house will take place this coming Friday with the official tree lighting and everything, too. So starting to see a lot of the holiday things take place. It's one of my favorite times of the year.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
It is. Someone should write a song. I bet they make a lot of money.
Is Christmas your favorite holiday?
Favorite holiday? It was as a kid.
Because of the presents?
Because of the presents. And I guess since having grandkids, it's been fun again. It was not so much fun when Dan Jr. was in that 3 to 6 age. It was fun to watch him, but my fingers were so sore from putting together and assembling Christmas toys.
Right.
One thing was the big wheel. He had a Rambo big wheel. I had to put all the stickers on just right. Had the bullet cartridges and everything on the sides of it and all.
That's pretty awesome.
He
I
loved
want one
the
of
thing.
those.
It was pretty awesome, but unfortunately, I had to put it together. Nowadays, you can have like Walmart assemble these things for you. You don't have to worry about it. But back before Walmart was a thing, it was follow directions, Dan.
See, when we opened presents when we were kids, me and my sister, my dad he had the trash bag, and we would just throw the wrappings in there.
Yeah. And that's another thing I don't like about Christmas is at the Potter Ranch, which is the in-laws, I'm usually the backboard for the big wastebasket, so I'm the one that takes all the shots. And I got out of that last year, though. I'll see if I can weasel my way out of it again this year. Christmas just around the corner, and it all starts this week. And in fact, if you've been through Yoctangi Park here recently, as early as 2 weeks ago, I think, they started having things set up.
Really?
For Shine On Chillicothe.
So right after Halloween.
Yeah. In fact, there is, you can see the chair that Kelly Johnson was talking about earlier, the chair, the big giant ornament that has the star insert cut out of it, and you can stand and take your picture with that. They've got the bandstand already decked out. But the one that captured my eye is towards the end of Enderlin Circle, where the street comes from downtown Chillicothe right into the park. There are these huge light bulbs, and you might have seen them on the ground last year. They're hanging in a tree this year. So I can't wait till this Friday. It's going to be magical, and looking forward to it. All right, coming up, a look at sports. But first, to get us there, Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. If you have issues with being comfortable in your home due to its environment, you need to probably get a hold of Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com. It takes you right to their website where you can learn more about Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
And remember, you can stop in every Wednesday and apply for work and have an interview with the managers at our 7 area McDonald's locations. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Sports time now, and we start with All-Ohio football, or I should say the Southeast District, which leads to All-Ohio at some point in time. But you can find all the representatives from our local schools that have reached the Ohio Prep Sports Writers Association's Southeast District Football Honors. Jackson, Unioto, Payne Valley, Logan Elm, and St. Trace figured prominently in the players honored as all-district, and some of them as players of the year and coaches of the year.
And were Mike Smith and Tom Beard the announcers of the year?
That is not a category, apparently.
But
otherwise,
in our hearts.
they would have been there,
Right.
yes. In our hearts, absolutely. And unfortunately, Tom was unable to be with us Friday night for the Bloom Carroll contest. Bloom Carroll fell to Bishop Watterson 20-10. It was 20 unanswered points for the Watterson Eagles, who advance now to play in the regional championship game next Friday night. High school state championships were decided over the weekend for volleyball. Kings Mills is your D1 winner. D2 was Mercy McCauley. D3, Lake Catholic. And D4, New Bremen. For boys soccer, Division I, Cleveland St. Ignatius. Tippecanoe takes the D2 title, and Willoughby Andrews takes the Division III title. And in girls soccer, Division I goes to Walsh Jesuit. Country Day, your winner of D2, and Ottawa Glandorf wins the D3 soccer championship. Meanwhile, all Ohio soccer teams were announced yesterday. A handful of area players made the list. You can find them on our website. Click on this story at LinderMedia.com. The Ohio State women's basketball team earned their first win of the season, pounding IUPUI by 50, 108-58. They'll host Boston College tomorrow night in Columbus. On the gridiron, OSU rolled past Michigan State 38-3. Marvin Harrison Jr., 3 touchdown receptions, all coming in the first quarter and the first few moments of the second quarter, if memory serves me correctly, because I fell asleep at halftime and woke up and saw that it was a 3-0 second half. But he surpassed his second 1,000-yard receiving season in a row. Congratulations to the Bucks, who will take on Minnesota, and that's going to be on the Big Ten Network this coming Saturday. On to the pros. The Browns had me on the edge of my seat throughout the game.
What a game that was.
At first, I was ready to kick the TV. The Cardinal side was coming out for a moment when they were down 14-0, and I thought, oh, this is not starting very well. And then they answer with a field goal. I'm like, okay, that's good. You're scoring. But you're going to need more than field goals, I have a feeling, in this game.
Right.
And then they win the second half, which is great. 33-31 the final. And when they battled back, got that interception, scored the touchdown to tie, but the missed PAT by Hopkins, I'm like, oh, no. But they got it back.
I didn't think he was going to make that field goal.
I had a feeling.
I had some friends over. One of them was a Bengals fan, one's a Browns fan. So we had both games on.
Yeah.
And there was a period where my Bengals fan friend was really excited because it looked like they were going to win. Mm-hmm. And my Browns fan friend was very disappointed because it looked like they were for sure going to lose.
I was flipping back and forth between the two channels as well. So the Browns win 33-31. We'll tell you about the Bengals in a moment because the Steelers also picked up a win, 23-19. And the Browns will host Pittsburgh to right the wrong from earlier in the season, which they lost to Pittsburgh. That's the only loss so far for Deshaun Watson this year as a quarterback. He's 5-0 outside of that Pittsburgh game. I know, it's like he hasn't played this year, right?
Right.
But he's got 5 wins. All right, on to the Bengals now, and the Bengals were down by 10 at 27-17. They rallied to tie, and you just had a feeling Joe Burrow magic was going to happen again. But there's that kid, C.J. Stroud. Despite throwing the interception, the Bengals could not make things happen. It turned out to be a Texans interception to set up the winning field goal. 30-27 the final there. Cincinnati slips to 5-4. And still, if you look at the conference standings, which I'm not going to show you here, but all 4 AFC North teams would be in the playoffs if they started today.
Too bad they're not starting today.
That's incredible. Cincinnati will travel to Baltimore Thursday night. If you don't have Amazon Prime, you'll need to find a friend who has it so you can watch the game. Or you can listen to it on radio, whoever carries the Bengals these days. I think it's WLW. I don't think it's carried locally anymore. So,
Not sure.
yeah. All right. On to our next item of discussion, and that is the Columbus Crew heading back to the conference semifinals. They will take on Orlando after a 4-2 win over Atlanta United. I was thrown by the FT. I couldn't figure out what the FT was because usually it's a VS.
What does FT mean?
Is that a soccer thing?
I'm not sure.
Soccer is so influenced by Europe. I just don't know.
If you watch soccer, leave a comment. What does FT mean?
Yeah. And please be respectful. Don't say, you blithering idiots, you don't know what FT means. So, I don't know, maybe it's Greek for something.
Maybe it's Latin.
It could be. It's all Greek to me. All right, and the Blue Jackets, boy, they're so close. They came up shy, and in fact, so much so that we don't want to show you what the score was. Oh, there it is. Yeah, 4-3. They're 4-7-4, which means 4 of those could go the other way, and they'd be 8-7, or it could be really bad. Yeah, 7-8. But the Rangers seem to be off to a pretty good start. 4-3, the final there. And they'll drop the puck at 7 o'clock Wednesday in Columbus. I think it's Wednesday. Maybe it might be tomorrow. Obviously, I forgot to put the date on there. I just had the time.
If you watch hockey, leave a comment. What day do the Blue Jackets
You
play?
blubbering idiot. Be respectful. Please do that. All right, coming up in a moment to take a look at this date in history as the Dan Ramey and Mike Smith edition of Litter Media Live continues. For those of you listening on Litter Media Radio, we're referring to the graphic. In front of me, it's Mike Smith, and in front of Aaron, it's Dan Ramey. So just got to set that straight. All right. This date in history, next.
Now that's one fast mower. Take command of your lawn with Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652.
Kingston National Bank was founded in 1909 by local businessmen. The concept of a local bank supporting our community's financial needs with local decisions made sense. This is Phil Evans, President and CEO of Kingston National Bank. I invite you to make KNB your bank. We continue to make local decisions that benefit our communities. Experience innovative products and excellent customer service. When you need us most, you can count on KNB. Our community, your bank. Kingston National Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
Neither one of us was around in 1953, so we've only heard stories about this, I guess, in some respects. But this is an example of the Red Scare in the 1950s when communism was starting to overtake some countries. And so one of the links that people were going to in America, Mrs. Thomas J. White of the Indiana Textbook Commission calls for the removal of references to the book Robin Hood from textbooks. I, to be honest with you, have never seen Robin Hood in red tights. It's always been green my entire life. But apparently this was a thing. And even Errol Flynn, when he was in, and I had never watched the show, but on the Bugs Bunny cartoon with Sheriff of Nottingham and so on and so forth, you see Errol Flynn swing in and he lands on top of a tree branch and he says, "Welcome to Sherwood." And that's where it cuts back to Bugs Bunny. That's the only time I ever saw that. I don't remember him wearing red.
No, I don't think so. When did the Disney movie come out? Because I'm wondering if that came out around the same time as this, and they changed the color to green, and maybe that just shifted the whole public perception of Robin Hood.
Do you mean the animated version of Robin Hood?
With the fox?
Which was red, by the way.
Right.
So, yeah, go figure. But Mrs. White, ironically, not red, claimed that there was a communist directive in education now to stress the story of Robin Hood because he robbed from the rich and gave it to the poor. That's the communist line. It's just a smearing of law and order, and anything that disrupts law and order is their meat, according to Mrs. White. And she might have been onto something. I don't know. I don't think that was the thing, but who knows? And that's the way it was in 1953, before our time.
Before our time, yes. I feel like robbing from the rich and stealing and giving to the poor is a little bit of a socialist practice.
Yeah, but in some respects, some of that goes into the pockets of people that shouldn't be having the pockets anyway.
Right.
So.
But the rich in that story were very corrupt, which never happens in real life.
There's a lot of good rich people, yes. No question there. But the way there's been such political divide in our country in the last several years, you would think that every person who's rich is a Republican or conservative, and not the case the other way.
Right.
But that's not right, because there's powerful rich people on the D side too. So got to be careful how you interpret things, I guess. It takes us right back to that FT part in the Crew story.
What do you mean?
What does the FT mean?
Who knows?
It's confusion. VS is the way to go, I guess. Maybe it's Latin for versus. I don't know. I didn't take Latin.
I feel like
in high
versus
school.
is Latin.
That seems like it should be as well. Maybe that's why we only use the VS. We must wrap this show up. Just haven't found a good way to do it other than saying, look for us on Facebook, on Twitter, X, as well as littermedia.com, and on Litter Media Radio. For Mike Smith, or Aaron,
I'm Dan Ramey.
You're Dan Ramey. I'm Mike Smith today. We'll see you tomorrow on another edition of Litter Media Live.